President Donald Trump's history of transphobia. This is a small side piece to my videos on Trump's history of racism and Islamophobia, at least as defined by the American news media. We have here two brief clips. The first is from when the news media actually still carried complete unedited quotations from Donald Trump. You have to go back to a North Carolina law banning transgender bathrooms.
Question? Yeah, we're getting thousands of questions on Twitter, Mr. Trump. Speak about North Carolina bathroom law in particular.
Oh, I had a feeling that question was going to come up, I will tell you. Well, look, North Carolina did something that was very strong, and they're paying a big price, and there's a lot of problems. And I heard one of the best answers I heard was from saying, leave it the way it is right now. There have been very few problems. Leave it the way it is. North Carolina, what they're going through with all of the business that's leaving and all of the strife, and that's on both sides. You leave it the way it is. There have been very few complaints the way it is. People go, they use the bathroom that they feel is appropriate. There has been so little trouble. And the problem with what happened in North Carolina is the strife and the economic punishment that they're taking. So I would say that's probably the best.
Do you have any transgender people working in your organization?
I don't know.
No?
I really don't know. I probably do. I really don't know.
So if Caitlyn Jenner were to walk into Trump Tower and want to use the bathroom, you would be fine with her using any bathroom she chooses?
That is correct. Hello today.
Now that was a completely fatuous interview segment by Matt Lauer, formerly of NBC News, basically demanding to know if Donald Trump had asked every member of his political campaign whether they were transgender or not. I mean, why would that be his business anyway? You have to remember, Donald Trump's perspective was that of a hotel magnate. In his view, people had to go to the bathroom, and they would be allowed to use any bathroom they chose to at one of his hotels or casinos or golf courses. That's his attitude as a businessman. Now, he noticed that this was a hot button issue for voters in 2016. At the same time, the Obama administration saw this local state issue as a way of helping candidate Hillary Clinton. So the Obama administration, at this time in the campaign, passed an executive order requiring all states to permit anyone identifying as another gender to use any bathroom they wanted to. Now, Medal of Freedom winner Rush Limbaugh had an appropriate comment on this. He said, imagine your daughter is about to go use a public restroom. There's a man standing outside. At 10 a.m., the man identifies as a male. He watches your daughter go into the bathroom. At 10:01 a.m., the man suddenly self-identifies as female. Exerting his newfound right of being a female, he follows her into the bathroom to observe whatever she's doing in there. That was the definition of President Obama's executive order. So, as soon as President Trump became president,
also, protests breaking out overnight at the White House just hours after President Trump revokes President Obama's transgender guidelines. That controversial bathroom bill, as it was called, policy, allowed students to choose based on their gender identity which bathroom they went into. President Trump now leaving that decision up to the states instead. Officials in New York and California have already promised to...
Now, what was an issue that candidate Trump maybe did not have a specific opinion on, other than to let people go where they wanted to go, as a hotelier, became a national issue when President Obama chose to enforce federal rules on the states. Donald Trump easily returned this decision-making back to the states. It's a local issue, as it should be. Now, the news media characterized this as transgender phobia by Donald Trump. That's simply politics. There's nothing to indicate his stances, as stated by Donald Trump himself, are in any way biased against transgender people. But this is how the news media frames subjects. They find out whatever the Democratic Party's policy is on any given issue, side with the Democratic Party, and then declare anyone with a different opinion as an ist or a phobe. So, just a small piece, but an educational piece on how freedoms work in the United States of America. Those who wish to curtail our freedoms are often those preaching the loudest about intolerance and bigotry.